There's a quote I love from Ernest Hemingway. If you've ever taken a class with me or watched some of the other videos in this series, you may have heard me read it. Here it is. All good books are alike in that they are truer than if they had really happened. And after you are finished reading one, you will feel that all that happened to you, and afterwards it belongs to you. The good and the bad, the ecstasy, the remorse and sorrow, the people and the places, and how the weather was. We've all had this experience, right? There are novels that transport us, novels that immerse us in the reading experience to the extent that when we put that book down, we're sad to be leaving that other world. We've been transported. And for me, much of the reason that we've been transported has a lot to do with what Virginia Woolf once referred to as the divine specific. What, you may well ask, is the divine specific? Let's begin by reading two passages selected almost at random from Madeline Miller's excellent novel, Circe, a feminist reworking of the mythical story of Odysseus. The ship was close to shore by then, its prow casting a shadow like a needle over the waves. And the second one. Before us, the huge limestone stairs wavered in the heat. Men streamed past us, servants and nobles alike, their shoulders sun-darkened and bare. Above, the palace of mighty Knossos glowed on its hill like a hive. Do you see those scenes in your mind? Madeline Miller was certainly hoping you would, because she wanted you to be fully transported into her novel. And she knew that vivid specificity of detail was going to be the key ingredient to making that happen. So she focused on her descriptions and honed them until they were so clear and unforgettable that they sort of took on a life of their own. This, to me, is the divine specific. We start with black marks on a white page, then suddenly we're no longer seeing the page. Instead, our imagination is constructing or projecting the vivid, continuous dream of the story. It's powerful stuff. For fiction writers, it's probably the closest thing we have to a superpower. And it's all about the skillful use of vivid, concrete, specific sensory detail. Let me read you a longer passage from Circe. This is the lead up to an encounter with the monster Scylla of Scylla and Charybdis fame. The mist came first. It closed in wet and heavy, obscuring the cliffs, then the sky itself. We could see little, and the sound of the sucking whirlpool filled our ears. That whirlpool was, of course, the reason Scylla had chosen these straits. To avoid its pull, ships must steer close to the opposite cliff. It brought them right beneath her teeth. We pushed on through the thick air. As we entered the straits, the sound grew hollowed, echoing off the stone walls. My skin, the deck, the rail, every surface was thick with spray. The water foamed, and an oar scraped the rock face. A small sound, but the men flinched as if it were a thunderclap. Above us, buried in the fog, was the cave and Scylla. I find this passage stunning, in part because the sensory detail is so sharp, concrete, and recognizable. We're helpless before our imaginations as they construct the vividly unfolding scene, and in part because of the way it sings the meaning of itself. In addition to the sensory imagery projected on our mind's eye, those sentences give us a kind of soundtrack. For me, at least, it's an unforgettable passage, so clear and vivid and loaded with fear and uncanny dread. If you want, hit the pause button and rewind the video to listen to that passage one more time. Notice the rhythmic meter, the assonance and dissonance, the way the vowels and consonants knock and creak and slip against each other like the oars of an ancient Greek ship passing through a foggy ocean strait. Reading it or listening to it echo through our minds, we feel like we've been transported right into this ship full of nervous sailors. And Scylla, when she comes, is going to scare the living crap out of us. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like the video and subscribe to the series here on YouTube, and have a great day.